Good morning. This message and this conversation and this presentation is being brought to you by the Les Brown Greatness Center, a center that's designed to help people learn the methods and techniques and what it takes to achieve their goals and dreams in life. It's not a religious movement, it's a spiritual movement, and helping people to discover that they have the power within to do more than they can ever begin to imagine. I tell you, this thing that we call life, it's very fascinating. And I've had the opportunity yesterday to work with someone that I met years ago that I find very inspiring today, Reverend Mike Jones out of Philadelphia. He called me to speak at a conference that he was holding. And I want to speak from the road to life is straight and narrow. And if you've ever had the feeling that there's more to life than you've been living, because that's what I'm about doing, helping people to do the greater work and to manifest their greatness and do something that gives them a life, do something that gives them a sense of, I can do more than this. I want a life of significance. And that's what really caused Mike Jones, Reverend Mike Jones, and I to come together. I didn't know him, but he'd heard about me. He saw me on public television, and he decided to reach out to me. And it's an example of who we have to be and what we have to do in order to achieve our goals. And I want you to think about your goals and dreams this morning. And I want you to focus on what does it take when you look at your life. I think it's very important to focus on the examples of other people of what it takes to live the kind of life that you desire. And he truly is an inspiration. Around 20 years ago, I got a call from a guy. And he said, I understand that you're going to be in Chicago. And I said, yes. He said, are you coming to Philadelphia soon? I said, no. He said, well, I'm coming to see you. And so I want you to think about your goals and dreams. Here's a clear example through this gentleman, Reverend Mike Jones, of what it takes to make your dreams come true. Mike Jones, at age 10, raised by his grandmother, he was the victim of a medical mistake, and he lost his sight. He became blind because of a medical mistake. But his grandmother, the way she raised him to be an independent thinker. She raised him to see himself as normal as other people. She raised them to have a strong sense of self and to be unstoppable and to figure things out. And that kind of raising process affected him. I remember he had an argument with a guy, and this guy's wife said, don't talk to him like that. He's blind. And the guy said, he doesn't argue like he's blind. Mike, he has a way of getting things done. So I was thinking about, what will I talk about this morning? And I said, oh my goodness, let me talk about Reverend Mike Jones. Because I spoke at one of his events yesterday virtually. And I told the story how we met. Someone told him about me. He saw me on public television. He was motivated and inspired, and he wanted to create a new life for himself. And so the city of Philadelphia, what they offered for blind people was to take classes on making baskets. Mike said, I don't want to make any baskets. I want my own business. Okay. And they said, well, that's all we can do for you is teach you how to make baskets. And Mike said, no. So here's what Mike did. He continuously explored other options because he did not feel that making baskets, that was not him. As long as I've known Mike Jones, even though he's been blind since he's been 10 years old, I've never known him to have a job, but I have known him to have employees. Employees, you heard me right, employees. So he heard me on public television and he said, I can do that. I want to meet that guy. Now, here's something I'm suggesting to you. I want you to think about your goals and dreams, and I want to lay out a process of what he did. And in the scripture I'm using, the road to life is straight and narrow. And the reason I believe that few there be that find it, because few there be that are willing to do what's required to find it. And among those things is perseverance. And so Mike, he decided, hey, I want a new life for myself. I'm going to speak. I want to motivate people. So Mike Jones decided he was coming to Chicago to see Les Brown in Chicago. And he called his friends and said, I'm going to see Les Brown. I would like for you to come with me. And he asked them because he needed somebody to drive it. And they said, no, we're not interested. So he said, okay, well, I'll pay you. I'll pay you to drive me to Chicago to this seminar. And they said, no, these are so-called good friends. These are people that he's helped in the past. It's 11-hour drive. They said, no. He called several. All of them turned him down. Write this down. Persistence. When you get ready to create a new life for yourself, you will find that there will be some people who help you, but there are some who won't help you. There are some people that are always there when they need you, as Kirk Nugent would say. But when you need them, they don't have any time. They're busy. And they came up with all kinds of excuses as to why they couldn't drive Mike from Philadelphia to Chicago. But Mike was persistent, and I want you to write this down, unstoppable. So he was talking to a friend of his about it. And she said, you know what? Why don't you figure out how to get there yourself? So he called the train station, said, what will it take for me to get to Chicago? They told him how much it would cost. He got a train ride. Now, Mike, keep in mind, he's blind since he was 10 years old. Here's something else. Mike does not have a seeing eye dog. He was never comfortable with that. And Mike does not have a cane. So he did find a friend who drove him down to the train station to catch a train in pursuit of a new life for himself. Because Mike, he didn't want to make baskets for the city of Philadelphia. Mike, he didn't want to be outside of a Walgreens or a CVS with a cup, hoping that somebody would have mercy on somebody that's blind and drop a few quarters in a cup. That was not a life to him. He wanted to live a larger life. Here's what I'm sharing with you and why. You can live a larger life. Don't just focus on what's going on now. Don't focus on what you have lost. Don't focus on the rug being snatched out from under you. Don't focus on you've lost your job or been evicted or been foreclosed on. Focus on where you are going to a new life, that God is going to do a new thing with you. How? I don't know. How is none of your business? You do what you can do, God will do what you can't do. So he got somebody to drive him down to this train station, and he just sat randomly next to someone, and the guy next to him that he sat next to was going to Chicago. Come on, look at God. Going to Chicago, 19-hour ride on a train. Write this down. You got to be a risk taker. You want to make it in life, perseverance is important, persistence is important, sacrifice is important. You got to be willing to give up something, and you got to believe in you, and you got to trust God that things are going to work out. So in a spirit of trusting God, he got on that train without a seeing eye dog and without a cane, and sat next to someone who happened to be going to Chicago. What a coincidence. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. There's some things that you decided, you know what? This life here, this is not me. This is not working for me. I want a way out. I want to do something else. This job, it's not me. And many people are staying where they are, even though the place where they are is not them, even though the place where they are does not feed their life. I heard something yesterday, a lady named Lorraine, when we had our speaker summit. She said, when there are major changes that you need to make in your life and you don't make them, after a while, you become blind to them. You don't see them anymore. You settle for them. I remember renting an apartment on Lejeune Road near the airport in Miami. And this friend of mine that I was renting this apartment from, a plane came over, and I said, Jackie, I can't stay here. And she said, why? The rent too high? I lowered it for you. I said, no. I said, these planes, every time they come over, it's going to be very distracting, very noisy. She said, don't worry. After being here for about a month or two, you won't hear them anymore. She was right. And people who would come visit me, they would ask me, how could you stay here? Don't you hear those planes flying over? I said, no, because I tuned it out, because I'd gotten used to it. If you are in a relationship where you're dying together rather than living together, you stay there long enough, you'll become the kind of person that settlement and the things that you don't have become okay. You become blind to the shortcomings. You become blind to the fact that you're dying together rather than living together. And even though Mike couldn't see, he had vision. And he was not willing to settle for the life of making baskets. That was the opportunity that Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, offered him. But he had a vision for something that he was going to offer himself, something larger than making baskets. That was not him. Something larger than standing outside of a drugstore with a cup, hoping somebody would look at him. Oh, he can't see. Let's give him a few quarters. Or with a sign, I'm blind. Give me some money, please. That was not the kind of life he envisioned for himself. The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it, because few there be that's willing to do what's required, few that's willing to push through, few they're willing to sacrifice, few they're willing to put it all on the line and to go all out to create a life, because what it takes to survive and what it takes to have a life are two different things. And he never lost vision of what kind of life he wanted to live. So on that train, this guy, he said, where are you going? I'm going to the Hyatt. I'm going to see this motivational speaker, Les Brown. I'm going to speak one day. And so the guy said, is that right? He said, I'll help you out. So the guy got off the train with Mike and got in a cab and took him down to the Hyatt. Now, when you have a goal and dream, and I know it, and all of us have had experiences of this nature, I believe in angels. I believe that when you do what you can do, God will do what you can't do. And he'll put people around you. He will have people open doors you did not see. He will have people who will recommend you that you don't know. He will have people who will create opportunities or an opening for you so that you can get through. If you believe in angels, people, strangers who gave you a break, strangers who saw something in you, people who know you, knew too much about you and wouldn't help you, but a stranger. Lady asked me, how is it possible? You've been so positive. You've been so instrumental in changing millions of people's lives around the world. How is it possible that so many rappers have received the NAACP Positive Image Award and you never got it? You were never nominated. But Toastmasters International, they nominated you for the Golden Gavel Award, their highest award. How is that possible that Toastmasters selected the top 5 speakers in the world? General Norman Schwarzkopf, Leah Coker, Paul Harvey, Robert Schuller, and you, top 5 speakers in the world, and you have never been nominated for a positive image. How's that possible? With all the PBS specials on public television, you were selected to raise millions of dollars for them, and you volunteered to speak for the NAACP or the Urban League, and they said no. How is that possible? You have been inducted into the National Speakers Association and received their highest award, the CPAE Award. But organizations, top organizations, your own community, don't recognize you. It's like you don't even exist. How's that possible? It doesn't matter. But there were some angels in the National Speakers Association that said, you know what? That guy's got a gift. That guy changed my life. There are some people in Toastmasters who said, you know what? We've seen a lot of speakers, but that boy who calls himself Baby Brown's baby boy, oh, we ain't seen nothing like that one. We're going to select him among the top 5 speakers in the world. Not just in the neighborhood, but in the world. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, Linda. Listen, when you are willing to walk by faith and not by sight for the life that you want to live, doors will open you did not see. Angels will be dispatched to help you. I've had people who helped me when I was struggling, people who believed in me when I was trying to believe in myself. And I'm encouraging you, don't give up on life. Don't surrender to the circumstances. Don't focus and look at what has happened to you. Focus on what you can create. Focus on where you are going. Keep thine eyes single on what you're about to build. The best is yet to come. And I asked Mike, what kept you going? He said, man, I just kept thinking about, I was going to speak and make people feel good and make them laugh. You got a funny laugh, man. And I said, you know what? I like to do that. And so when they got to the Hyatt Hotel, they said, can I help you? Yes. This gentleman here, he's here to see Les Brown. And they said, he's on the 2nd floor. And the sky cap, the bellman, he said, I'll take him from here. See, when you get to a certain place, when you're willing to risk, this God said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, what else is there? Yet many of you have been working on jobs. That is not you. Why do you do it? Oh, to pay the bills. But you've gotten to a point where that's not enough. Now, some of you that said, you know what? I'm taking a chance on me. I'm going to build something for me. This is the entrepreneur's economy. And I'm going to create something where I can be my own boss, as the millennials say. Don't give up on that. No, don't give up on your vision for yourself. Hold that vision tenaciously through all the frustrations, through all the failures. I built my business on rejections, on no's, on who do you think you are? And I say to you, you have something special. You have greatness in you. And the road to the life that you want is straight and narrow. Everybody won't see it for you. Everybody will not want to go with you. You got to see it for yourself and understand and know this is straight and narrow. Why? It's lonely at the top. Did you hear me? It's lonely at the top. When you have an expanded vision of yourself, when you envision a life that you're not living right now, it's lonely at the top, but you eat better. Oh, behave, hello, whatever. Yes. There are people who won't help you because they know too much about you. And that vision they have of you, they can't forget. They can't see you doing better. They can't see you achieving and living a larger life. And that's okay. Don't try and convince them. That's a full-time job, convincing yourself. Somebody asked me, what's the most difficult thing that you've done? Was it earning $1 million in this business? I said, no. I said, the most difficult thing I've ever done, and it took me years to do it, was to believe that I could do it. Having no college education, never working for a major corporation, being labeled educable mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade and failing in the 8th grade at Booker T. Washington High School, being born in an abandoned building on a floor, not knowing my birth parents, to believe, given my circumstances, that I would be able to learn how to develop the credibility, to learn how to become an effective communicator and be able to communicate and reach and touch and transform the lives of people around the world, to believe that I could do it. That's the most difficult thing I've ever done. And so when you look at yourself, look at your goals, there's a reason we are taught, judge not according to appearances. Don't judge yourself based upon your past. Your past has nothing to do with you right now. It's in the past. Let it stay there. Don't bring it up front. And don't worry about the people who won't help you or people who can loan you money and don't. Don't worry about that. Focus on your destiny. My son, John Leslie, has a saying that most people focus more on their distractions than their destiny. And so you are stronger than you realize. And sometimes, as they say, you don't know how strong you are until you have to be strong. And there's some situations you just got to push through. When I went to the dentist last week, to J&J Family Dentistry, and they said, I'm about to give you a shot. Get still. I had to push through. They said, you're doing real good. You're doing real good. And I would bite. I would bite the lady's hand who was holding my mouth open. I would have bite her head. brace yourself because I'm about to bite you. And then, oh my goodness, he tells you stories while he's going in there, about to put that needle in you. He said, close your eyes, because he knows I don't want to see the needle. But listen, so Mike, he heard my voice when they brought him upstairs, and he followed the sound of my voice. He kept saying to people that came near him, I'm here to see Les Brown, but I'm blind. Oh my goodness, but I've got vision. Come on now. Woo, woo. That is powerful there. You know it is. You know it is. And they brought him in the room. And he heard me speak. And he said to himself, I can do this. And the rest is history. We met, we talked, and I said, man, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Philadelphia. How'd you get here? On a train? Where's your dog? Yeah, CNI dog. I don't have one. And where's your stick? Don't you have a stick that you tap and see where you are? No, why not? I just never accepted being blind. I said, I can make it without it. Hey, listen, there's some things that you believe that you need because you've been convinced of that. Be ye not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But he said, I believe I can get around without that. I don't need no seeing eye dog. I don't need no cane. And he's been getting around quite successfully. And he has a life. He's an entrepreneur. He is a husband. He has 5 kids. He is a pastor. And he manages people. He has employees. He's never had a job. I've had jobs, not just one job, jobs. He just said, no one will hire me. Who's hiring a blind person? He said, but I never looked for one. I always thought about having my own job. What do you think about? What is your dream? You know why you're listening to me right now? Because what's in Mike is in you. What's in me is in you. You want a larger life. You know why you're watching me right now? And that you're going to get a breakthrough, that things are going to be better for you, that you're willing to work on you. You're learning how to live life now. The abundant life, herein my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, a productive, fruitful life, that you have not given up. There's so many people that have given up. But that's not you. It's because it's not in your DNA. And don't watch them. Don't look at them. I can't watch people get evicted. I can't watch people being foreclosed on. I can't watch the pain and misery of other people. I will contribute to organizations that's trying to help the homeless, but I'm an empathizer. I can't do that. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a witness. I want to be an active force of good, of helping to raise money to feed families and help kids get coats and clothes for themselves and help single mothers. I want to be actively engaged in life, not a witness. The 3 types of people in life: those who watch things happen, that's the majority of people, the witnesses; those who don't know what happened, and those who make things happen. The reason you're watching me, because you are one of those individuals who make things happen. You and I are cut from the same cloth. We are branches of the same tree. Do we have problems? Yes. Think it not strange that you face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulation. You got to push through like Mike did. Like he did. You used to do a seminar, how to earn over $200,000 a year with your eyes closed. Come on, somebody. Been blind since he was 10. And because of what his grandmother instilled in him, has a strong sense of independence, won't even have a seeing eye dog or a cane. But he's got faith. He's got a yes, I can attitude. A yes, I will, productive, entrepreneurial spirit about himself. Yeah. No, what's going on now, this will not define you. What's going on right now? There are people that you might bend, but you won't break. You might bend, but you're not going to break. Why? Because it's not in your DNA. Some people will break down. Some people will break through. The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. Few there be that are willing to sacrifice. Few there be that are willing to persevere. Few there be that are courageous enough to walk by faith and not by sight. Blind man will get on a train for 19 hours. The first time in his life he traveled by himself and got on a train by himself because his friends couldn't see his dream. But he saw it. Even though he can't see, he saw it. Why? Because he has vision. People without vision perish, and they die in a life of mediocrity. They die living a misplaced life. They die with their dreams still in them. They die making the cemetery rich and Miles Monroe angry. Oh, I can hear my brother saying, go, get on this morning. Oh, yes. These things ye shall do, and greater things shall ye do. Mike can do all that he's done. Had an event yesterday with his eyes closed. He's 65, been blind since he's 10. Had an event yesterday, has his own cable channel, his own television program. I said, Mike, the lights are too dim in here. He said, I don't know. He said, I can't tell, I'm blind. Oh my God. Oh, don't underestimate you. You have something special. You have greatness in you. Yes, you do. You have it. You have miracle working power. Miracle working power put in you by God. What do you mean by that? The things that God do for you and through you, as you, and you know it's not you, it's Him. If there's something you want to do, you want to live a larger life. You want to, like Mike, make a difference and use your story, use your example to live a life and not just survive, to live a life that will outlive you. You have something special. You have greatness in you. Bet on you. Do what you can do, where you are with what you have. And God will do what you can't do. He will dispatch angels to assist you. I know this to be true. You have something special. You have greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This has been Les Brown speaking on behalf of the Greatness Center to remind you of your greatness.